Hi, I'm ED-SKaR, and I've recently been to Salute 51 to be specific, and I got a bag full of stuff. Unfortunately, I didn't take many pictures while I was there, so I just wasn't in the YouTuber mode, but let's have a look at the things that I brought. Let's just do a whole video of what I brought back, because apparently that sort of thing is interesting to people. Let's find out. So the first thing, the largest thing in my bag was this, the Kings of War sample pack. Now they started off with, at the beginning of the day when you got your bag, there were some random things in there. Some people got a ticket that gave them free one of these. And then at 2 o'clock, kind of 2 or 3 o'clock, they dumped all the rest of them. They had a few spare, so anyone could just come past and collect them. And that's what I did. I got the one of the spare ones. So in the pack is a small version of the rulebook. From what I understand, this is the complete rules for Kings of War. There's a few units in the background, in the back of the book, but it's kind of limited as to what's there because there are separate army books that have way more detail. And then also, kind of the cool thing of the sample pack is some MDF base. No, not the MDF bases. The models. Yes. And we looked these up. We worked out that they are the Night Stalker Butchers, which have all sorts of greebly nasty, mutated, multiple hands around weapons and all sorts of nasty stuff. These will build up and paint very nicely, I assume. Yeah, Kings of War, it's one of those rank and flank style games, which immediately makes some people very uninterested, because traditionally rank and flank has been a very slow-paced style of game. Like whenever you have some models, you need to line them up and you move them around together, and it becomes very fiddly and annoying, and then when you get to combat it's very slow. But Kings of War does things a little bit differently in that they've made some concessions in the movement to just make it easier and smoother to play, which makes it a lot faster and a lot more fun. And then for combat, it's very aggressive, very easy to do a lot of damage with certain units. So again, it becomes more fun, more enjoyable to play, rather than the very kind of slow and methodical, which, to be fair, some people like the slow and methodical type of game, and there are games out there for that, but Kings of War kind of is the other end, where it's kind of more fast-paced. But yeah, that's one of the first things I got, so let's pop that aside and look at something else. Okay, I got these from Crooked Dice. This is actually something that I bought, not a free sample or anything like that. Events like Salute and this expo we did last year can end up being a little bit of a vendor haul. Thankfully, I think Salute had a good mix of a lot of vendors, but a lot of activities and other things as well. Not just paying to go shopping, which is what sometimes these events can seem to be. But yeah, we've got some Victorian adventurers with some different head options. One's got a lizard head, one's got a potato head. That's really cool. I like those. I'm going to enjoy painting those at some point. I have looked at Crooked Dice before. They've got a few science fiction models as well that I would like to have a look at, but that's just something that I bought. So, War Mag. This was my free thing in my bag. So some people got the ticket for the Kings of War stuff. I got this, and this is just a little box with a magnetic base, magnetic floor, and then 2 little magnetic bases, just as a sample of the type of thing that can be done. They are actually different, I notice, and I'm not sure what the significance is of that. I have generally tended away from magnetizing models. It seems like a bit of a meme more than actually a useful thing. But there are a lot of uses for magnets that are legitimate, so certainly something that I keep in mind. But for this little case, you could put 2 models in there, a little jewel perhaps, and the magnets are going to be strong enough that you can bounce this around and knock it around, turn it upside down, and they're not going to fall out, which is useful. And also useful is the fact that this is a nice little box. I started storing stuff throughout the day in here, and so I've got a little pile of all the stuff I've dumped out of it for now. So let's grab one of those. I did mention that there are events or kind of activities to do, as well as there were some talks. We actually missed all of the talks, I think. But one of my favourite ones, and I went to do it twice, was someone had a massive pile of sprues and bits and stuff, and you could build some models. And so I grabbed this guy, which I think I'm pretty sure it's a Necrom model. I think it might be House Cawdor, I'm not certain on that. But regardless of what it is, I managed to get a complete model of this thing. This guy, however, kind of Roman gladiator goblin sort of thing, very much incomplete, very much mismatched. The arms are from different places, which was the point of the kind of that table, is that you grab some bits and glue them together in all sorts of weird ways. I managed to get one complete model, which is nice, but this was the intended thing to do. Come up with some crazy, weird thing. And it looks pretty good, although it's obviously incomplete. It's got a missing right leg, and a lot of the chest as well is missing. So I'm wondering, do I kind of milliput this up, build it up to be like a robe or something that covers up the missing leg? Or do I go for a more artistic approach and have like a grainy dust effect and have this kind of creature appearing out of the dust, and then have this kind of cloud of dust behind him on the base? I think that might be interesting. Next up, Gamer's Grass. So Gamer's Grass, obviously they are a vendor, but they also had an activity set up in front. They gave you some bases that had just been simply dry brushed, just to add some colour, and then they gave you the grass tufts to glue them on. But this is a useful base, and will probably end up on one of my jet bikes at some point. Okay, next up is another one that I paid money for. Bought this for real. Titan Wargames has some orcs and some dwarves in a fantasy style, and this is their command set for the dwarves. I thought the style of the models was really good. They had some painted examples on the booth, and I got chatting with the rep there, who was very lovely, and wasn't actually part of the company, I think. And so just as we were wrapping up the conversation, like the guy who was actually part of the company came back to take over the stall again. I assume that the rep was there to give them a break or something. And me not being in YouTuber mode, I basically didn't talk to the person who was actually part of the company, which may have been a bit silly. But there you go. The rep was lovely instead, so we had a good chat about that, about the various dwarves, and many years of wargaming and painting models. These dwarves, eventually I'll paint these up. I actually have a growing collection of dwarves from various companies. I should probably just do a big video painting them all and getting them out of the way. Alright, this one's special, and there will be another two nearby as well. So this, as you can see from the label, Bad Squido Games, yes please, is Pirate Annie, limited edition model for this event, and looks absolutely fantastic. I actually haven't had a good solid look at this. She's holding a flag which has bent in transport, but we can fix that, no problem. Skull and crossbones on it, looks great. Big old pistol. She's got a knife and a saber on her belt, kind of old-fashioned clothing with the bodice and the not a tricorn hat, but the kind of folded up pirate hat, and a plank of wood at the front that says Salute 51. I know a few people are talking about cutting the 51 off and just having her as a generic pirate, but I might leave that in because it's a nice kind of where the model came from kind of thing. It's part of the provenance of the piece, if you will. But there's also some STLs that were offered up. So this is a space pirate from I believe Anvil Industries. So we've got kind of a mix of style of the old pirate style with some spacesuit tech, helmet kind of on his knee, pistol, belt, cutlass over his shoulder. Pretty cool looking model. And then another STL that was offered as part of the Salute 51 is from Chronopia. Chronopia, I think that's how it's pronounced. But that is them. This is a kind of very Chinese stylized orc with this big robe, good old shield on the back, and a very spindly moustache, which looks fantastic. But these are the highlights, because these are the limited edition models. There was supposed to be a gnome as well, and I don't want to call them out on it because we haven't actually looked into what's going on. But there was supposed to be a gnome downloaded STL for one of the companies, and we tried and we couldn't get it to download. So there's that. So another one of the events was one of the MDF companies, and I apologise, I cannot remember which one. Shame on me, I guess. Not only did they have the stall there, they also had an activity where you could build stuff. Didn't quite get the chance to build any of the buildings there, which would have been nice. But what I did do is sneak along and go through their bin, and so I've ended up with a whole bunch of doors, some grates. Is that the logo of the car? I don't think it is. Shutter door, and some pegs and bits and stuff. Oh, actually, I think that might be the handle. Yes, the handle for the door. Great, I have one of my doors now has a handle. I'm sure one of my other... Oh, wait, there's another one over here that I've forgotten. There you go. One of my other doors also has a handle. Two doors with a handle. There's another handle there. Yes, like I said, I forgot to make specific notes on who these were, because I didn't think I would be making this video, but here I am. I also got some of these wooden stir sticks from coffee shop. I don't drink coffee, but I always steal a couple of these to make wood for basing and stuff like that. Very handy to have. And I think that is the long and short of my models. I think we've mentioned everything. Yeah. So let's have a look through the paperwork and see which bits is which. So Titan wargames, they're the company with the dwarves and the orcs. Very cool models, and all of these are the painted ones that they had in the display. They were very cool. There it is. This is the guy doing the MDF building table. So this is Mad Gaming Terrain. So thank you very much to them for that event. That was a good bit of fun. Even if I didn't get to do it properly, I still ended up with some of the stuff from the bits from the bin, essentially. So Twilight, I believe this was a stall. Yes, it was. So this stall had some absolutely beautiful creatures and animals and alien sort of things, but not in the kind of like the scary, spooky style. It's more of the mystical, friendly animals and wildlife and just beautiful, wonderful things. There was a couple of sets that I looked at and I'm like, yeah, I kind of want those. I didn't buy them, but I very nearly could have bought those, because they were very cool. Zinj Industries. Now, I don't think I actually went to their stall. I think this was a flyer that they handed out, the resin bits stuff. So Findoria Games, they had a couple of sample games that you could go and play. I think there was the like a Demolition Derby game, which I really wanted to play but didn't get the chance to. I think it was The Last Drifters, it might have been. Moonstone. This is a game that I wanted to get into for a while because, again, we've got all of that mystical, fanciful style of models. And the ones they had on the stall were absolutely beautifully painted. But what I've been told, this game is kind of like Stalker but high fantasy, and that just makes me want to play it. But I haven't played it yet, so I can't really comment. So this is free STL from Chronopia. That's the orc that I showed off, holding out the sword. And they've got plenty of other stuff that we might look at some point. Sarissa Precision, of course. I had a quick look there. I didn't find any of the things from my £50 video, because if I'd have found one of them, I would have picked it up. I was hoping to find the tugboat, but I couldn't. Wall of Games. It's taken this long into the video before I can mention that. Yes, Wall of Games was there. This little blurb here, I've seen this before in one of the newsletters. It does seem to be more of a board game. That's kind of how they're describing it. Yeah, easy setup board game. So a 1 to 4 player board game but with Warlord style. I'm hoping that this isn't referring to 3rd edition bolt action, because that would be very different from what we're hoping for. We're hoping for a lot of things for 3rd edition, and that's not one of them. Ah, Twilight. Have I got 2 of Twilight? I think I do. Yes, that's the same one. So this is all of the beautiful animals and creatures, and look at them, aren't they so lovely? Little turtle thing with stuff growing on his back, and little flying things, and just odd creatures that are just absolutely lovely. Definitely want to have a look at them at some point. And then the last bit of paperwork is a rule system for... If anyone can read that, let me know. I assume it's Hobgoblin. It sort of looks like Hobgoblin. But this is a rule system for... just a really simple rule system. There's only... it's only a single sheet that's folded in half. So a very simple, quick to play, I'm sure, system. Something that I might try and get someone down to play at some point. But that is the end of the paperwork, and so that was my little escapade to Salute. Thankfully, it wasn't just a vendor hall. Some of these kind of events do tend to just be a vendor hall that you've paid to get into, so you're paying to go shopping. But this time there was a few events. There was a few of the stalls doing discounts as well, and there was just other stuff to do than buy, which is good, especially some of the games. I didn't actually get a chance to sit down and play any of the games. Maybe that's something I should do more of next year. But for now, with this video that's almost certainly incredibly boring, I'm ED-SKaR, always will be, and thank you very much for watching.